as John has chosen for LIU.
Malachi Davis, not a difficult choice. As I said yesterday, it's a toss-up between him and, of course, Williams. I'm sorry, not Williamson, but help me out here. I'm losing.
Fuller.
Fuller, yeah. Fuller had a monster game yesterday, but Malachi Davis has been their leading scorer, Gary. He's kind of a streaky type player, and he's going to have an impact on the game before it's all over with.
How about for the Eagles? Who did John pick today for the Purple Eagles?
Well, Jahari Williamson kind of does it all. He did not start today, but I'll tell you what, Gary, he's going to be a factor in this basketball game. He does a lot of good things, and right now, Niagara is just out of sorts offensively, and you need a guy like Williamson to play the role of a leader out there, Gary, not just a scorer.
So that bucket is good by Davis. Davis looks like he is shooter happy today. He wants to get some numbers on the board and get his team a victory. Looking to go, that is Justice Smith into the lineup. Lions, New York. Turn around, that doesn't go. Rebound Fuller.
Not a bad look. Justice Smith has got some ability. 6'6" with guard skills. He couldn't get that one to go off the glass.
Malachi, by the way, is an Arizona State transfer. He was a 4-star recruit. So certainly Rod Strickland, very happy to see him walk through the doors and come to LIU. To the corner, put up. That does not go for Fuller. He made a bunch of those yesterday.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster yesterday.
Williamson, and he gets off to a good start. Knocks down his 20th triple of the year, team leading 20.
That's a good sign early on. Niagara is at its best when Williamson is playing good offensive basketball.
Trying to get it up, and it will not go. Not a bad move by Davis. Couldn't get it to fall over the side of the rim. Rebound controlled by Williamson. Will Short is in the game. He wears number 32 for the Purple Eagles, and they just turned the ball over for the 5th time.
Not a great pass by Williamson. What LIU is doing, they've got the memo on Williamson as well. Every time he comes off any kind of screen at all, Gary, they are double teaming him. They want to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible. On the previous possession, they lost sight of him, and he had an open look at a three and nailed it.
Jason Steele in the lineup for the Sharks. 6'8" sophomore, and Jalen Rock Lee, a 6'7" freshman, also in for the Sharks. Stolen away. Good reach in that time by Short. Quickly down the floor. Ooh, Alaludin took a few steps there, but nobody seemed to care.
Good look up the floor by Jaden Marshall as Alaludin kind of leaked out immediately after the turnover. Let's see if you're right, Gary. Let's count them. I think he did.
Yeah.
We missed the first one there, but
foul is called on Steele.
Not a walk if they don't call him, and
that's great. Yeah, that's
Niagara ties this thing up. Alaludin is a good free throw shooter.
83%. As a team, they shoot 73%, which these days is also pretty good. Turnover down the other end. They've got the lead. A jam by Justice Smith, and that forces an LIU timeout. As just like that, Niagara has their first lead of the ball game.
Yeah, Gary, Greg Paulus absolutely prides his team on defense. Offense takes a little more time to come together. Defense, they can play it.
We do have another ball game for you at 2:30. The Lafayette Leopards will take on Binghamton. Is the final ball game of the Lafayette Classic, put together by head coach Mike McGarvey and the athletic department here at Lafayette.
It's been a lot of fun.
They did a nice job.
It's been a lot of fun, and I think Gary, the impetus for this, and give Coach McGarvey and his staff and the administration credit for buying into it. Schools like Lafayette, the mid-majors and the low majors, normally get a steady diet of mid to high major programs early. And I love that phrase that says nothing grows in the darkness. This tournament allows teams to play one another, teams at a similar level. It's competitive. It's a lot of games in a short period of time, and it's beneficial not only for the chance to get some wins, but get some quality minutes on the floor, a lot of minutes in a short period of time.
Lafayette had an awful schedule last year early on, as they went to January with only 1 win.
And give credit to Coach, because after that horrible start, they won the first 7 games in their league. And by that time, a lot of teams, lesser character teams, would have mailed it in. Said this stuff isn't working.
Strickland turned around, had to put it up because of the shot clock. Knocked out of bounds, and good effort. You can't complain about hustling. Everybody's working hard. It's just not great shooting teams here with the Sharks and the Purple Eagles, and that's problematic. It's not about trying and working hard.
No, these two teams, all 4 teams, I mean, they're well coached and they work hard. Again, I think if there's something that's missing, it might be more consistent perimeter play, perimeter shooting, that is.
Treshawn Shepard in the ball game for the Sharks. He'll wear number 4 on D right now. Inside to get it to the big guy, Martinez. Boy, if they smothered him with defense, he got it up, but it wouldn't fall.
Yeah, that's a win just to get it to the rim. He had 4 guys surrounding him. Martinez is big.
Davis can't get it. Malachi trying to knock down a triple.
Well, the more I see Justice Smith, the more I like him.
That's him with a basketball.
He's got some, at 6'6", it's a classic stretch 3.
He's a grad, 6'6", 215, out of East Tennessee State.
Yeah, feathery. The percentage of successful threes after offensive rebounds is off the charts. And that's where most threes, open threes, come from.
Makes sense. Everybody's crashing. Somebody isn't. Stolen away. Oh, now that's a foul. Shepard decided to hug Justice Smith.
And Greg Paulus wants a flagrant. They're going to look at it, and I don't think there's any question about it. So it won't be a flagrant 2. The NBA, I think they call it a clear path foul, but in this situation, it's not a basketball play.
We got a timeout down on the floor. We'll call a timeout. Stay with us.
Nearly 4 decades, the Patriot League has delivered high academic and athletic achievements in the NCAA while paving a bright future for its student athletes. We are today's scholar athletes. We are tomorrow's leaders. We are the Patriot League. The Patriot League on ESPN is on Instagram. Championship moments, amazing highlights, behind-the-scenes coverage, and features on the best and brightest student athletes in the NCAA. Follow us at Patriot League today.
He may not turn out to be a black belt or play Carnegie Hall.
He'll take the chicken fingers.
But with the money you earn from your PenFed checking and savings accounts,
He's growing up. Look at him.
your goal of supporting his dreams will always be worth it.
I got it.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
For every action, there's a reaction. For every vision, there's a way. For every moment of discovery, there's a time of celebration. For every form of rivalry, there are teams welcoming a challenge. And for every one of us who feels limited by a world that says or, there's a place that says and. Lafayette College.
Welcome back to Easton, PA, Game 3 of this 3-day classic. Right now, the Purple Eagles lead the Sharks 16-10, and I want to talk about the Sharks real quick. The Sharks have been really hot in the first half. They've come out on a 6-0, 8-0 run, and in this game, they had a 3-0 run for a couple minutes or so. But that's what they need to do, is sustain that run the entire game, and that's what they've struggled with. They struggled with that with the second half. We saw Jamal Fuller yesterday have his best game yet. He had 27 points and 10 rebounds. 22 of those points came from the second half alone. So for the Sharks, it's all about utilizing all of their offense, both in the first half and in the second half, guys.
Absolutely right, as Smith will go to the line with a flagrant 1. He'll get 2 shots, and then Niagara will get the basketball. Now they've got to take advantage, and the first foul shot by Justice Smith does not go. He's a 67% free throw shooter. And he doesn't get either one of them, so I guess the foul was worth it.
Niagara is on an 11-0 run, Gary. Remember, LIU went up 10-5, and it's been primarily because of the defensive effort. Niagara has turned up the heat, and LIU has accommodated by turning it over. And that's a big miss early on.
Both teams with 5 turnovers. Turnover-wise, the play the whole weekend has been pretty good. That's kind of what I mean about, you can't get a much easier shot. Just get it up there on the glass, and Lander outside, that doesn't fall, and the rebound is controlled by Williamson.
You're absolutely right, Gary, but again, the plus side is that Niagara did a good job to create that mismatch.
That's going to be short.
And once again, that's 2 wide open looks that Greg Paulus would like to see go down.
1 for 4 shooting for Niagara, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. 4 for 12 shooting by LIU, and 1 for 4 from beyond the arc. Oh, go a little pick and roll, and the pass was not good, a little too hard.
Yeah, a little too hard, a little too high. It's where you like to see if there's an angle to throw a bounce pass in there. And
that's a foul. Williamson's progress was halted by Jason Steele.
That's all a product of Malachi's ability to, Jahari's ability to shot fake. You've got to respect that three-point jump shot. When you do that, shot fake, get to the rim, his quickness lets him do that.
Zion Russell returns to the lineup. Will Short back in there. Trying to put it in play is Russell, and they're going to call it off of LIU. Russell trying to keep from the 5-second violation.
Yeah, and it was a smart play by Russell, a little risky, but he saw that ball went off an LIU player and let it roll out of bounds instead of, if he catches that ball and he's got a foot on the line, it would have been LIU ball.
Good quick man-to-man defense. Yeah, that could have been a foul right there. Inside, finally getting it up, and it won't go.
Boy, Russell is like a pit bull in there. He is so tough. How about that quickness?
Good move. Here comes Davis. Malachi with a dunk. He's got 7 points already.
Once again, it's tough to over-dribble against teams that play defense the way both of these teams do. Greg Paulus is imploring his team to move more without the ball.
That outside shot, Williamson does not fall. Rebound, controlled by Rock Lee.
Better ball movement will get you more open shots, and it will create better driving lanes.
He's going to have a lot of screens, one on each side. Trying to find the ball and get it inside to Shepard. Can't do that. Back to Fuller. He'll put one up, and he'll knock it down. Jamar Fuller with his 11th triple of the season. He's a transfer, Division II transfer. Doesn't play like a Division II player.
Don't let him get started. We saw him absolutely turn the game upside down yesterday. 27 points, double-figure rebounds.
Nice drive, and again unable to finish. Yeah, now they finish. Good bucket up and in by Williamson.
You saw the frustration by Jahari as he got that foul. Will Short was in there kind of shaking things free as well.
(18-15) Niagara. That one does not fall. Jumper taken by Rock Lee.
Adeluden strong on the glass. Adeluden is one of those guys that I think they list him at 6'6". He plays bigger than that, but then when he plays on the perimeter, he's got guard skills as well. Greg's got some pieces.
Well, that's kind of the key anymore, is to make the pieces fit. Right now, neither team really shoots the ball well. I mean, you see it again in this ball game. They get some high-quality shots, and they don't fall. Uh-oh. That was Fuller that hit the dust.
He went down.
So he said, I'll show you, and he kicks it to the corner. Rock Lee, no. Shaken loose. It should be Niagara ball. Good call. We're going to get a timeout down on the floor. We're under 8 minutes, and it's 18-15 in favor of the Eagles. Stay with us.
Our generation isn't turning away from the world's problems. Watch us fly ahead, rise to every challenge, and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Did you see this? Tours are going to be up to 50% off for Cyber Monday. Santa's going to need a bigger sleigh.
Yeah, I am. I mean, he is. That's not my car. I don't even know where I parked.
Get up to 50% off toys and more, only at Target.
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. This weekend only, get a free Whopper Jr. with a $1 purchase, only on the BK app.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I grew wiser. I realized life isn't about how many people you can knock down. It's about how many people you can lift up. At Ram, our calling is to build game-changing trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
NHL on ESPN Plus is back. Enjoy 1,000+ out-of-market games and so much more. That's hockey on ESPN Plus.
Let's go! The SEC-ACC Challenge next Thursday on ESPN.
Out-of-town scores driven by Easton Coach, Lafayette Leopard's Choice, the top quality motor coach service. We'll take a look at some of our out-of-town scores as Navy and Maine are going at it. Navy, of course, in the Patriot League. Binghamton Lafayette, that'll happen at 2:30 today right here. And then Notre Dame, American Sacred Heart Boston, and Lafayette women playing today. That is a 2 p.m. ball game. We'll try to keep our eyes on that one.
So there is someone else playing this early. Maine and Navy. The Navy guys don't mind. Oh, they're going to get Martinez on a push. Trying to establish position, Gary. He used that offhand to fend off the defender.
And you know when he pushes you.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is a big dude. 6'11". He's a graduate, so he's got a year pretty much on everybody. Vallejo, California. Transfer from UC Riverside. And he can do it inside and outside. Nice ball player.
That's why they teach big guys to keep your elbows above your shoulders when you're posting up. It takes away that impulse to push off with your down hand. Plus, you go after the ball with two hands.
And that doesn't fall. So many shots that just haven't gone in. That one's smothered by
Martinez.
Martinez,
He just stood there with his arms straight up in the air. You know, Gary, you made a point earlier about having the pieces, but getting the pieces to fit together. And I was thinking this morning, the old phrase that, you know, Rome wasn't built in a day. But I got to believe that if the Emperors were forced to start over every week, it never would have gotten done.
Exactly right.
And that's almost like what the transfer portal is. These teams, and that's a nice look by Page downtown. But, you know, these coaches, so many of them have to start over every year with the impunity of the transfer portal. I suppose it can be good for the players in the near term. I'm not so sure. Like, where do you go for homecoming? I don't get it.
Well, the Sharks had only 3 players return, so they built from the transfer portal as inside, getting it back, not getting it in. Rebound will be, we're going to get a held ball. So they built they had a rebuild this year. Last year, a lot of injuries, inconsistent play. Several players hit the portal, only 3 come back, Strickland, Steele, and Shepard. On the other side, Greg Paulus, his total roster was turned over as he had to fill 10 spots this year. And he has the quote, he says, that's the year-to-year world of college basketball.
Incredible. And the way Greg played and the way he coaches, it's just not consistent that way. So some big adjustments for the young man as he builds a culture and a program up in Niagara Falls.
Knocked down. That is a 2 taken by Adeloden. He was right on the line. Official right on it was Jeffrey Clark. He's a veteran. He's been around for quite a while. Frank Scagliotti, who was an NCAA Final Four and championship official for many years. He's now an evaluator. We had a great conversation today with him at lunchtime. That shot doesn't fall for Davis. And he talked about evaluating officials and how you go about doing it and why. In fact, I found it very interesting about the late whistle. The late whistle basically is about the position one official is supposed to make a call and doesn't. So the whistle comes a little late because the other guy makes it.
Yeah, and one is deferring to the guy whose call it belongs to.
Pull up, Adeloden, no. And the rebound, Strickland. Strickland's been very quiet.
More to that point, Gary, the casual observer, it makes you realize, how ill, and I don't mean this in a totally negative way, but they just don't have the information that the professional officials have. There's usually an explanation for a questionable call.
Frank does his evaluation. He's doing it right now. Maybe at some point we can get a shot of him as Strickland gets that bucket. Strickland scored 17 against Binghamton, a career high for him yesterday.
And LIU is going to be okay, potentially. Again, if you've got strong guard play, which the Sharks have, you always have a chance.
McKnight, no, can't get it down.
I like the way McKnight shoots the basketball. He looks like a shooter. He's got terrific technique, maybe the best of anybody on the Niagara roster.
He's a junior college transfer. He's not afraid to put it up. Had the ball partially blocked. Good defense by Justin Page.
Yeah, Justin Page closed out high and hard, and that length prevented Davis from converting.
Down inside, Russell, no.
I don't know what that
running
was.
that one down was Martinez. And it's the best sign so far, Zion Russell said, settle down.
How about you? You're exactly right.
We're going to get a timeout down on the floor, kind of a use it or lose it, but it is also a media timeout. 23-17, low scoring. Niagara on top.
Shoot.
Oh, stolen away by Butler. Curry chasing him. Putting it on the line. Oh, the play of the game.
Get 2 or more favorites for just $6.99 each.
Give me that ooey gooey, crispy, crunchy, mouth watering. Give me that choco chippy, sweet treaty, hypnotizing. Give me that dippy, drippy, drummy, rippy, Papa wing in. Give me that cheesy, saucy, tossy, Papa John's. Give me that zesty, bestie, melty topping, pepperoncini popping. Give me that cheesy, saucy, tossy, Papa John's. Pair of pizza with your favorite sides for $6.99 each. Better get you some, Papa John's.
Let's go to the trivia question presented by Lehigh Valley Health Network, the team that cares for the Lafayette Leopards. LIU is in the Northeast Conference. What member of the Northeast Conference did Lafayette play in football this year and will play in basketball this season? We'll have that answer for you in a bit. Hopefully it comes from John, but usually it does not.
Listen, I'm doing a lot better than I did in high school.
That's true.
At least. I got this one. I'm down.
You have it? Okay.
I didn't want to tell you because then what you do is then you change, you add, like there's an addendum to the trivia question, which throws me for a loop.
I don't understand the I'm down talk. What is
I'm down.
Down. You realize you're
gotta
over 70 years old, right?
You got to get G with it.
I guess you don't realize. 23-17, Niagara.
That's good.
Strictly man-to-man the whole tournament by these two teams.
And give credit to LIU. Niagara did all the right things, but
didn't get an open man. Driving inside, Smith. No, he can't get anything either. Shot clock's going to run out. That's a necessary. Oh my!
Greg,
I got to be kidding. That basket is good by Williamson. It's a triple, and it's a last-ditch throw.
I wish we would have had a camera on Greg Paul as he threw his program straight up in the air, saying, you know, you don't want to be rewarded for that kind of offensive possession, but he'll take it.
That wasn't a design play? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not what was on that sheet that he threw down.
Maybe they should work more on those.
Exactly.
Way outside Strickland. No, that doesn't go. Rebound is controlled by Xin-Li Yi, who is in there, number 34. Xin-Li Yi, 6'9" sophomore out of China. Manhattan transport. He's actually came in as a good three-point shooter so far in the season, though. He's only 1 for 6. Ooh.
Yeah, that
Malachi wanted a foul there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It was close. I think he was hunting that three-pointer instead of letting it come to him.
Greg wants him to pull it out and start all over again. Here comes a high screen from short. We're going to get a foul here. This will be on Xin-Li Yi.
LIU's defense, again, off the high screen. I thought for a moment it was only when someone like Williamson came off the screen, but they're doing it on everybody. And what I'm talking about is jumping the dribbler. If you see the high screen, they're going to trap Williamson especially, but they're doing it now with Smith as well. I like this matchup.
Good defense. Goes short. Back outside. Again, they have to throw it up. Well, they don't deserve 2 in a row, do they? They get the rebound, though. And they'll keep the basketball. Smart play by Adelodin.
Was that Jaden? It might have been Jaden.
Was it one? Marshall.
Yeah, it was Jaden Marshall. They're kind of bookends, Gary. They are very similar in stature and style.
Greg Paulus, who actually yells through the entire ball game, and I noticed his voice is not quite what it should be. He's a little bit hoarse. 3 days in a row is tough.
Oh, yeah.
On the vocal cords.
There's that double team again. They get the ball effectively out of Williamson's hands.
Well, wanting to go one-on-one was Marshall, and he just couldn't get it done. We're going to get a foul, however.
You know, we alluded to this yesterday, and in the MAC, Greg's Niagara Purple Eagles were picked last in the preseason poll. And this team is not going to finish last. They're just not going to. They're going to get better. They've got some physical ability, and Greg will pull them together. But I think it was more a product of what you talked about before. It's just, how did anybody know what was coming in? And, of course, Rod Strickland at LIU, you can tell this team works so hard defensively. And that's going to win them some games in concert with their terrific backcourt.
Marshall misses the first foul shot. He's an 80% free throw shooter. You gave a great had a great story yesterday, which some of the fans may not have heard. about how the first couple of days of practice, Greg has a drill where whoever you throw it to, you shout his name. Throw it to him, shout his name. Well, nobody was shouting names because they didn't know each other.
Yeah, Greg stopped the drill. He goes, "Guy, I told you to call out the name." Well, Coach, we don't know we don't know his name. Okay, we got to start over.
Inside Strickland. No, they're going to get a foul called. They're going to call this one on Justice Smith, I believe. His first. 5th team foul.
Well, I tell you, Strickland is so quick going to the basket. They list him at 6 foot. I'm not sure. I hope he's 6 foot because that makes me 6'2".
His dad, the former Knickerbocker.
Oh, terrific career in the NBA. Administration as well. And he's coaching back home. He's a New York City native. You talk about having credibility. Rod Strickland explains something to you, it's coming from a pretty good source.
Yeah, you're right. There he is. Get a look at him. 3rd year as the head coach.
I'm sure there are times when he wishes he could borrow somebody's uniform and maybe shed the spectacles, use a little just for men hair color.
Probably the AD maybe wants that too. I mean, who would not want him on your roster?
He looks like he could still play both of these guys.
So playing not quite for the final shot. There's about a 0.3 of a second difference. Uh-oh. Goes out of bounds. Oh, my.
Not sure how that wasn't a little bit of a hand check. I mean, Smith got pushed right out of bounds.
Here comes Lee. Zinli Yi will come in. Now let's see if they set him up for a 3.
We saw him make an acrobatic move to the basket as well, so he can do some different things, but I agree with you, Gary, with 11. They want to leave all their options open. Certainly Lee, the more offensive player than Lassou.
Here comes the screen. He steps back, and it will go up, and it will go down. As that's the way to end a half. Terrell Strickland knocks down his first triple of this one. And with non-Lafayette games, there will be plenty more here for game 2.
Yeah, I think this is as much a coach's tournament, Gary, as it is anything else. It's on Thanksgiving weekend. A lot of interesting and exciting football going on besides this, but this is something that's going to benefit these programs, especially early in the season.
So LIU has the ball. They also own the deficit. They're down by 5, 27-22. And their starters are the same. It's Davis, Lander, Strickland, Lassou, and Fuller. Driving inside, having the ball slapped away by Russell. It's going to be Niagara ball. They will come out on the floor with Adeloden, Page, McKnight, Martinez, and Russell.
If that first possession was any indication, and I'll elaborate a little bit more, but these teams have a chance to run through their stuff, if you will, their offensive movement one time, and if it doesn't happen, then they got to stop and do it again. The advantage to continuity as LIU forces a turnover.
Good example, right there is an example.
Yeah, you can. It's seamless, and you can play. Look at that move by Davis. Wow. But you have a chance to run through your stuff all the way through the shot clock, and that takes time.
Russell had an open 3, did not take it. Slapped away, but unable to get to it is Davis.
You cannot throw lazy passes against either one of these teams. How about the quickness of Davis that time? He was nowhere near that passing lane and still knocked it away.
You understand why he went to Arizona State to start with. Certainly is a talented player. Little back up, and that's dropped smartly by Justin Page. Page with 5 points.
Strong off the dribble and navigated his way to the front of the rim.
He started at Cal Poly.
Fuller's been quiet.
Yes.
He hasn't.
Davis again. Malachi now with 9. He's a double-figure scorer every time he steps on the floor. And there's quick hands. He's going to fire it down to Fuller. And, oh, how pretty! Fuller right into the hands of Shadrach Lassou. Wow.
You know, when you're marching for error, look, it was a nice pass. It was on target, but Lassou is so high, he could have gone up there, had a sandwich, and still caught the ball and threw it down. He was way up on that pass.
What a beautiful pass by Fuller.
Right on the money.
It was Davis to Fuller to Lassou.
Boy,
And the big guy, not nearly as dramatic, but the same result. Martinez.
They don't ask how, they ask how many. And it's two at both ends. And Martinez can be so effective inside.
Again, Davis wanted a foul there, did not get it. I think he got nudged a bit.
I think that's another thing you'll see Greg Paulus develop as the year goes on. I think you're going to see a lot more from Martinez as Niagara goes through their season.
So down by 5 at the half, and still down by 5, LIU. Niagara 2-5 coming in. The Sharks 3-6 coming in. Sharks without a victory in the Lafayette Classic. Niagara 1-1.
Well, you could see what they were trying to do, but it was a bit of a lazy pass on the outside. They had a back cut going on, but it was deflected by Davis.
It's going to be a loss by Davis.
Offenses just don't seem to value the basketball. I mean, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to play like it. The ball is gold. Before you can win, you've got to stop doing the things that make you lose. And turnovers are one of them. That ball is gold. And if you're going to be a good team, you have to take care of it.
And again, there's been maybe too much dribbling in this ball game. It's much better to pass the ball. LIU was doing that on that sequence, and then they went to the dribble and lost the ball.
Yeah, it's exactly right. You got to play it through to the shot clock. And
that jumper will not fall for Marshall. Strickland out of the pack.
And it's a huge adjustment for some players, Gary, because they grow up, you know, learning how to play, and a lot of them bounce the ball all the time, and some of them are very, very, very good at it. But then you start to think of that phrase, everybody's strength is their weakness. Dribbling the ball can be a strength, but it can also be a weakness if you don't know where you're going or you're not using the dribble effectively.
And the rippling effect, it affects every one of your other teammates because they're not quite sure where you're going.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, and they stand up and...
Well, there's a battle. Williamson and Fuller. Ball will go to LIU.
They end up kind of standing around and kind of watching one guy bounce the ball. And that is not conducive to efficient offense, to say the least.
Davis will put it in play. Fuller. Back outside Strickland. 5 on the shot clock. Shot clock's been a problem for LIU in this game. Up and under. That would have been pretty.
It would have been something. We talk about creative, and he had to create it. Another great Pete Carillism when he said, a pass isn't a pass if the only reason you're doing it is because there's nothing else for you to do.
Williamson. Fuller's also a good defensive player. He can do everything on the floor. Down the floor, up and in. Basket by Davis. Davis now in double figures. He has 11.
Another turnover, and that of the costly variety, because it kind of happened in the open floor and led directly to an LIU run out. Those dead ball turnovers are very different. Oh boy, Williamson kicks it. Greg might get a timeout here.
Davis again. Not this time. Rebound by Short.
Good block out by Short.
It's been a tough tournament for LIU. They lost in overtime to Binghamton, and they lost on a final 3-second shot.
Yeah, by Williamson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a much needed bucket right there. Hard earned. Jaden Marshall, I think, yeah. You know, you're not looking for a degree of difficulty when you're playing offense. You want to be efficient. But both of these teams are capable of making difficult shots. I think both coaches would rather see them make the game a little easier.
5 on the shot clock. Oh, that's a foul, no? Kind of rode him right on out of bounds. So we're going to get a timeout down on the floor. First media timeout, 33-28. It was 5 at the half. It's still 5. Nothing has changed except the numbers. Stay back. Stay with us.
At PenFed, we help our members make the most of their personal finances so they can make the most of their dreams.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
For nearly 4 decades, the Patriot League has delivered high academic and athletic achievements in the NCAA while paving a bright future for its student athletes. We are today's scholar athletes. We are tomorrow's leaders. We are the Patriot League.
For every action, there's a reaction. For every vision, there's a way. For every moment of discovery, there's a time of celebration. For every form of rivalry, there are teams welcoming a challenge. And for every one of us who feels limited by a world that says or, there's a place that says and. Lafayette College.
Stats tell the story. LIU shooting 31%, 11 for 35, and beyond the arc, 3 for 13. That's 23%. They've only been in the foul line to shoot 3 foul shots. On the other side, 45% by Niagara, 36% from beyond the arc. And they have been to the foul line, but just 5 times. They made a couple of them. Way outside, again, a shot clock problem. Lander can't get a default. How about that rebound by Terrell Strickland?
Had a glimpse of Niagara's upcoming schedule. Be very, as I said before, one of the games that's going to generate a lot of interest in Central New York as Lee launches deep is the Siena game. Siena coached by Jerry McNamara, and of course Niagara by Syracuse native Greg Paulus.
Yeah, that's interesting coaching matchup. Yeah. One guy great in basketball, great scorer was McNamara, and the other guy became a great quarterback at Syracuse after a basketball career at Duke. That's Greg Paulus.
Yeah, starting point guard. He had a year left, so well, why not? I'll go get a master's degree and set a couple of single season passing records up for the Orange. But Gary, you mentioned LIU's shooting percentage. Niagara and Greg Paulus is not going to be pleased with the 13 turnovers so far. They came into the tournament averaging 12, which is a very good number. They're going to have more than that today. So despite the fact that LIU has turned them over, they've not been able to get to the free throw line, and they've not shot the ball very well. So
yeah, so you get possession but don't score.
Exactly. All those extra possessions their defense creates, they haven't benefited from it.
Page with a quick back-to-back fouls. Don, I know you would know because you know the Paulus family. Was there any college that would allow Greg to play both?
Absolutely was, and I think you know the name of that college is Notre Dame. Notre Dame said, listen, he was the Gatorade football player of the year in the country, was Greg. And he just wanted to play basketball in college, and he wanted to play for the Blue Devils as Strickland knocks down a three. And he opted to go with Coach Krzyzewski and started for 3.5 years down at Duke. And then never was too far from the football sport, and what a 1 year he had at Syracuse.
Well, what's amazing too about that story is we're going to drive to the bucket, and oh my, what a finish by Jaden Marshall. He'll get fouled. He'll go to the foul line. Great offensive play.
Boy, he hangs in the air.
Lee Yee.
A little bit of extracurricular stuff going on, but watch this powerful move. You know, we talk about basketball players being football players. I would love to see Jaden Marshall play running back. I mean, he is a powerful young man. He really knows how to get to the rim.
One final question about Greg's career. He spends 4 years with absolute concentration. At Duke, you concentrate on basketball.
Right.
So 4 years without all that concentration on Duke, basketball, and yet you step right in and be a starting quarterback at Syracuse and have a great 1 year career.
Yeah, he was a very, just a talented young man.
10-second violation causes the turnover. And this game is starting to get a little feisty, 35-31.
It really is. The one thing that Niagara has done consistently all weekend long is play defense. They have been, with the Lafayette game yesterday, Niagara-Lafayette was an absolute, I think Mike McGarvey called it a rock fight. They were just going toe-to-toe. And Niagara, you start with defense, and that's where Greg Paulus is starting.
There were not 40 total points scored yesterday in that first half of that game. And all of a sudden, the Niagara team has gotten into this one.
You know, that saying that a team is sometimes the reflection of its coach. Well, there's nobody more feisty or fiery than Greg Paulus, and the Purple Eagles are demonstrating some of that right now. I really like the upside of Martinez. He provides them that inside presence, and he's not lost offensively in there.
He's at the foul line for the first time today. 14 for 18, a good free throw shooter. And he just got better.
And that's no small, insignificant point. And there's another turnover as Niagara's pressure creates the turnover. But Martinez is going to be around the rim an awful lot, and that's going to buy him time at the free throw line. And the fact that he's a good free throw shooter is no small point.
LIU turns it over for the 11th time. Seems like their turnovers lead to more important possessions than when they turn Niagara over.
Exactly right. You don't see a whole lot resulting in runouts.
Good drive inside as Adeloden with a bucket.
Thought he might have played right through that foul as well. No whistle made. Here comes Davis, and that's going to be a foul on Williamson. Nice little run by Niagara, Gary, all generated by its intense defense.
Timeout down on the floor, 40-31, as this one is becoming much more interesting from a physical standpoint. Stay with us.
Legends say these relics hold a great force, one that could change the course of history.
Our generation isn't turning away from the world's problems. Watch us fly ahead, rise to every challenge, and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Did you see this? Tours are going to be up to 50% off for Cyber Monday. Santa's going to need a bigger sleigh.
Yeah, I am. I mean, he is. That's not my car. I don't even know where I parked.
Get up to 50% off toys and more, only at Target.
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. This weekend only, get a free Whopper Jr. with a $1 purchase, only on the BK app.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I grew wiser. I realized life isn't about how many people you can knock down. It's about how many people you can lift up. At Ram, our calling is to build game-changing trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it. TJ. JJ.
Lateral races. Brutal.
TJ.
It's time to play offense. Turn it up. Whoa, let's cool it, you two.
Mom.
Welcome back to Easton, PA, where right now the Purple Eagles lead the Sharks 40-31. And I want to talk about the Sharks and the Eagles, for that matter. Both have something in common. They really don't use a ton of players off the bench. They both teams really rely on their starting five. If you look at the Sharks, they have a ton of guys on their offense that have a ton of talent. One of them, Malachi Davis, who's received a ton of conference honors. You see Jamal Fuller, who had 27 points, 10 rebounds yesterday. And then you got Terrell Strickland, who's also in that mix. But they haven't had any points off the bench today, guys.
Well, the big scorers are doing the job for the most part. Strickland drives and kicks and knocked down. It's a nice play right there by Rock Lee. That's his 8th triple of the season. His first 2 3-points today.
Good reaction by LIU because Niagara came out in the zone for the first time today, and Rock Lee found a gap in the corner and knocked it down. So we'll see how long Greg stays with the zone. It would seem to make sense because they're struggling shooting the ball, but you know, the man-to-man was working.
Looking to go. Big number 12, Jhaylon Martinez. Now they got to put it up. No, they might have waited too long. They got it off. And the rebound by Zinli Ye.
Kind of not aware. I thought that Niagara did have an opportunity earlier in that shot clock area, and they passed it up. So these are all little things that, you know, you can learn from watching game film. It's going to take a little bit of time. You hope that by, you know, the beginning of February, this team will find its rhythm, find its stride.
They've got to put up another one. That doesn't fall. And a nice job by Yee. Now, I'm really concerned about our tripod.
I know. You're like a true professional, you understand. You have your priorities. I know, exactly right.
You know, you can sub, but these guys are getting tested.
They really are. I mean, watch, they both come down. Lee and Martinez come down with the ball together. And then this move right here, and at this point, it should be over. Martinez kind of stares him down. Lee doesn't want any part of it, and he stands up to confront him.
Big guy.
Yeah, they are. I don't not
6'9".
want to. I know. So out of that timeout, that media timeout seems to have benefited LIU a little bit. I get the sense Niagara needs another spurt here because LIU is hanging around.
Niagara has the basketball, though, and they still have the lead. They're up by 6. Russell.
Fuller guarding Williamson. It's an interesting matchup. This guy knows.
Nice move.
My goodness.
Russell.
Yeah,
his first field goal of the game.
Can he get to the rim or what? He's small and quick, but it's his strength, Gary. You know, he's powerful.
Sue was wide open. Nobody saw him. And that guy you can't leave wide open. That's Davis. Davis with 13.
The difference, he shot that with his right hand again. He's a left-handed player, but he loves that right-handed floater. We've seen him use it a number of times this weekend.
6 for 18 from the field, so he's taking a bunch of shots. He's 0 for 6 from beyond the arc. And we're going to get a blocking foul. This will be on Lassou, his second. You know, Sue was a great high school player. They retired his jersey in high school. And He's had some good ball games, 11 and 10 rebounds against Charlotte. And Pratt, he had 11 rebounds.
Talk about a signature win. This LIU team, that's when you put a circle around. It shows they have the ability. Gonna get a hold on the inbounds pass. It's Fuller.
Second. 14th foul.
Boy, you gotta find him. He doesn't need a whole lot of room.
Williamson.
That's a catch and shoot off the inbounds plays. That's a mistake. You see Rod Strickland shaking his head.
That's his fourth triple, or third triple. He's 4 for 8 from the field, 3 for 5 from land. And he has 13 points. Fuller. Well, that's called muscling your way in, but can't get the ball on the glass.
About a muscle rebound by Martinez. When he's got position, you're not getting around him. That last three by Williamson was huge because LIU was creeping closer.
They found themselves in this position yesterday against Binghamton, came back and tied the game in regulation, only to lose by 5 in overtime.
Screen and roll worked nicely there. LIU a little tardy getting over on the help side, and that created the push. Martinez caught the ball a little off balance and got knocked off his path. Better defended that time.
Russell working against Davis. They've decided to let Russell kind of just go one-on-one and see what happens.
Well,
he's been doing a lot of dribbling out front here.
He has, you know, but they kind of spread the floor a little bit and give him room to operate one-on-one. And once he gets that step, he's so quick and strong. That's the thing. You can't throw him off course.
Greg Paulus does a lot of traffic directing from the sidelines. Again, it's Russell, and they've said, all right, you go and you win the game for us, and he's going to walk on the play and create 14th turnover by Niagara.
Well, I agree with you. They found something they like, and it happens to be the matchup with Marshall and whoever's guarding him, because he's been effective getting to the rim. You notice how much they spread out the other 4 players so as to discourage the help side.
Give a kick, it'll stay with LIU.
We haven't seen a lot of full court pressure from anybody this weekend, with the exception, Niagara is the one team that extends their pressure, and they do it effectively.
Lafayette had no problems with it yesterday. In fact, forced them to kind of just do token pressure. Strickland up. Then Strickland's got it. Big bucket by Strickland. That's his 3rd triple of this game. And it cuts the deficit to 5.
Don't know if we'll have another look at that, but I think that Niagara made a mistake defensively and went under a screen. When Davis has the ball, when Strickland has the ball, you can't go under screens.
Boy, did they not see a terrible matchup. Strickland was on Martinez, and nobody saw that.
That's a foot difference. That is, I mean, you got to identify that.
They do isolate on the right side, and they get a good bucket out of it by Rock Lee.
And Rock Lee is one of those guys, when he's going to his right, we saw him yesterday make one of those baseline jump shots going hard to his right. An almost impossible shot, but he's so comfortable doing it. Got size and elevation, and he likes that spot on the floor. 3-point game all of a sudden.
They go to Martinez. And he just simply powered his way, but the walk is called. I think he was sliding his feet there. Timeout down on the floor. It's a 3-point game. Our first games all weekend have been exceptionally close. Is this another one? Stay with us.
Legends say these relics hold a great force, one that could change the course of history.
Our generation isn't turning away from the world's problems. Watch us fly ahead, rise to every challenge, and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Did you see this? Toys are going to be up to 50% off for Cyber Monday. Santa's going to need a bigger sleigh.
Yeah, I am. I mean, he is. That's not my car. I don't even know where I parked.
Get up to 50% off toys and more, only at Target.
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. This weekend only, get a free Whopper Jr. with a $1 purchase, only on the BK app.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I grew wiser. I realized life isn't about how many people you can knock down. It's about how many people you can lift up. At Ram, our calling is to build game-changing trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
TJ. JJ. JJ.
Lateral races. Brutal.
TJ. TJ.
It's time to play offense. Turn it up. Whoa, let's cool it, you two.
Mom.
We are back, and we have an opportunity to answer our trivia question of the day. LIU is in the Northeast Conference. What member of the Northeast Conference did Lafayette play in football this year and will play in basketball this season, John?
That would be Stonehill, and you are running out of questions because these are getting really easy.
John, it's a weekend tournament. There's 6 games, and I tried to make every question relate to the teams that are playing.
So you're doing lesson plans like you used to in high school,
So you
right?
get one right, now you're going to be critical.
I'm while I can, oh, watch out. Boy, that
I was ready to shoot it.
Rod is coming right at you. That ball hung up there. When you're a coach and you see a pass like that, your blood pressure goes as high as that ball did.
Way outside, and it does not fall. Had a good look at it, but it would not drop.
You know where this is going.
For steal.
Oh, my goodness.
They're going to count it? No. Yeah, they're going to count the bucket, I think.
No. I guess it hit the basket first. What? Did it hit the backboard first? Let's take a look here, and boy, that was above the rim. It's got to be something, I would think. I have a chance to look at that again. Here we go.
Russell puts it up. Used his left hand to kick the defender away.
Almost could have been an offensive foul.
They gave that bucket as good to Justice.
Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah, Justice Smith.
Yeah, it had to be because it hit the backboard and then was hit above the rim.
That one hits nothing from Blake Lander, and it stays at 5. LIU's had plenty of opportunities to get this game tied or better, and they just can't seem to get that big bucket. There's a big screen. It's hard to get around Martinez. He'll get it back. That's a nice play.
It really was. Justice Smith did a nice job of kind of keeping his eyes up, and a nice move without the ball by Martinez. I really like Justice Smith's game. I said that before. He's just got good size. He's got good ball skills. Unselfish player. Good defender.
East Tennessee State's where he came from. Inside, that guy's been a little too quiet. There's a bucket by Fuller. Yesterday, he had 27 points. Today, 5.
Yeah, he's capable, and he's always kind of lying in the weeds. You know, when you got a player like that, you don't want to get him started if you're Niagara. Pay attention to him because Fuller can heat up in a hurry.
Adeloden will put it up and he'll get fouled. Boy, there was kind of an unnecessary foul. He wasn't going to make that shot no matter what.
Yeah, he was kind of in no man's land right there. Just, you got to make him earn it. And you'll see it right here. Now he loads up right here and just tries to go up through people. I think Fuller got him down low.
Fuller's third foul. Adeloden from the foul line is 83%, 1-for-1 today. He's got that one. Adeloden with 8 points.
You know, it'll be fun for us with the advent of ESPN Plus, Gary, is we'll be able to watch these teams throughout the year. I'm curious to follow both LIU and certainly Niagara and see how these teams developed. Having seen them 3 days in a row now, you kind of get familiar with them, and it'll be fun to follow them.
Yeah, to see their growth. And I think that's what the coaches are definitely interested in, the development. And two good coaches. And hopefully the programs will soar. And I agree with you. I don't think Niagara, as they said, picked to finish 13th. That's not going to happen in the MAC, I don't think. They're better than that. Fuller, no, doesn't go. Shaken loose. Good job inside by Rock Lee.
Rock Lee, appropriately named. He's strong as a rock. How about those hands? Adeloden almost knocked it free.
Good pass from Strickland as he gets it right to Lassou, puts it down.
Terrific pass. Not an easy catch by Lassou. Of course, he had no choice because it would have hit him in the chest. Nice play by Strickland.
Get a timeout down on the floor, and we'll call a timeout. Nothing has changed. It was 5 at halftime. It's still 5. Stay with us.
Legends say these relics hold a great force, one that could change the course of history.
Our generation isn't turning away from the world's problems. Watch us fly ahead, rise to every challenge, and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Did you see this? Toys are going to be up to 50% off for Cyber Monday. Santa's going to need a bigger sleigh.
Yeah, I am. I mean, he is. That's not my car. I don't even know where I parked.
Get up to 50% off toys and more, only at Target.
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. This weekend only, get a free Whopper Jr. with a $1 purchase, only on the BK app.
When I was younger, my calling was to play football. But as I grew older, I grew wiser. I realized life isn't about how many people you can knock down. It's about how many people you can lift up. At Ram, our calling is to build game-changing trucks. So when you find your calling, nothing can stop you from answering it.
TJ. JJ. JJ.
Lateral races. Brutal.
TJ. TJ.
It's time to play offense. Turn it up. Whoa, let's cool it, you two.
Mom.
We are back. Big pat on the back to John Sabino and his crew. They've been here all weekend, and they have done an outstanding job, as always, for the Lafayette Sports Network. Those games, of course, all get on ESPN Plus, and they've done a yeoman's job. Not a lot of overnight sleep. Everybody working on putting stats back together and getting all the equipment out of here and then back in here, and great job by everybody.
I can keep track of them through my front window too. I make sure that everybody's on time. Somebody's late.
Don't rub it in that you.
My commute is.
It's a walk up the street. Foul will be called on Lassou. And that will now be immediate timeout. So crunch time right around the corner. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. And we'll guarantee you that we will be back. Stay with us.
Shoot.
Oh, stolen away by Butler. Curry chasing him. Puts it away. Oh, the play of the game.
Get 2 or more favorites for just $6.99.
Give me that ooey gooey, crispy, crunchy, mouth watering. Give me that chocolate chippy, dippy, drippy, Papa wingin'. Pair of pizza with your favorite sides for $6.99 each. Papa John's.
Everything is easier with your My Astound account. Now you can add Astound Mobile, which runs on one of the nation's largest, most reliable 5G networks. You can pay by the gig or go unlimited. Simply log into your My Astound account, then click on the banner. From there, you can see how much you can save by switching to Astound Mobile. Your My Astound account makes it easy to get exactly what you need. Go to my.astound.com and be astounded. Check it out today.
Came back from Maine, down at the Mississippi River, Whiteface, New York, a lot of ski trips, college basketball games, football games, been everywhere.
Working at Easton Coach for 23 years, I feel there's no other job like it.
With this job, the best part is if you want to go far, you can travel far. If you want to stay local, you can stay local.
Here at Easton Coach, it's a new adventure every day.
We are back as you get a look at the LIU huddle. Rod Strickland trying to overcome for this entire half a 5-point deficit. At the half it was 27-22. It's now 50-45. And he can't get his ball club as you get a look at the Niagara upcoming schedule. John talked about the Siena game on the 6th and Merrimack, St. Francis of PA. I'm sorry, LIU is up there. And you get a look at their schedule upcoming. York, UMass Lowell, Missouri, St. Mary's, and Lehigh. That's one we'll be interested in watching, John.
Absolutely. But I'll tell you what, they go right into the belly of the beast. In a couple of weeks to play Missouri after this. Mount St. Mary's, no slouch either. So Rod Strickland is challenging his team. Hopefully he'll have them ready for the Northeast Conference schedule.
Jahari Williamson off the bench today, highly unusual for him. Looking for his 15th point. And he got it.
Martinez is going to come out. What Greg Paulus is doing now, he's going with more quickness defensively. When Martinez comes out, they're applying some full court pressure. And this time LIU has no problems with it.
But every LIU possession now critical, down by 7. They get it in the hands of their scorer, Davis. He finds Fuller, finds Strickland. All three of those guys can score. Shot clock again, problematic. It's going to be a blocking foul. And that will be team foul number 5, so no shot. And the foul will be called on Williamson.
Williamson working real hard. It was a half step slow getting there, and
foul's going to make it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be out of bounds. It'll stay with LIU.
Both teams run some creative inbound stuff, Gary. They kind of, it's a short curl, and it's almost like a double curl. They've got 2 guys going off, and then finally 1 guy to the corner. I like what they do. I guess in soccer you'd call them a set piece, but in basketball these plays are important.
Good drive by Davis, but he can't get it down. And another empty possession by the Sharks.
That ball was right there, everything but the finish, and that's been the story of much of the weekend for the Sharks.
from the outside, knocked down by Adaloden, and that might be a clinching type bucket, as he's a happy young man as Adaloden, as we get a timeout down on the floor by LIU. And John, their backs are up against the wall now, down by 10.
They sure are. Really good, well executed. Watch this, Gary. In the old days, it was a pick and roll. These days, with the advent of big guys that can shoot the ball, it's the pick and pop. And that's exactly what Adaloden did. And LIU did not react, and Adaloden knocks down what might be a dagger.
And he was a happy dagger at the end of that shot. That puts his ball club up by 10.
And what happens there, Gary, on the pick and pop, if the defense insists on taking that perimeter jump shot away, then you make eye contact and immediately go back door. So it's just one more level that'll be added with these guys playing together more. And with their versatility, I'm talking about Niagara now, you know, there's a lot of room for this team to grow.
Niagara led by 10 right at the end of the first half. 53 seconds to go, they were up by 10. And they have now gotten back up by 10 again.
Now you're going to see that tempo press. You know, they're backing up. You just want to make LIU use some of the shot clock. Have less time to work in the offensive area.
LIU has 2 timeouts left. That's going to be a 2-shot foul for Davis. Williamson picks up his 3rd foul. At the line, Malachi, he's 1 for 1 today.
Malachi strikes me as the guy, you know, what's the difference between a shooter and a scorer? You know, shooters, Gary, they can be one-dimensional, and the catch-and-shoot kind of guys, you know, they're pure shooters. Malachi is different. He's a guy that he can beat you a lot of different ways. We've seen him use both hands around the bucket. Here you see right here the spin dribble and just a piece of the elbow from Williamson on the way up. But Malachi Davis can get to the rim. He's at a mid-range game. You got to defend him from the 3. Knows how to score.
It's only their 5th free throw of the game. He's 3 for 3 from the foul line.
And, you know, Greg Paulus will look at that and say that's a win for us defensively.
Right. His team's been to the line 11 times. They've made 7 of them.
Play some time and score now as we move under 2 minutes. This is an important part of the growth process.
All right, now they got to put it up. And who better to do it than Williamson? He can't get it down. Strickland with a solid rebound there. Here comes Malachi. Going to go right at the hole, not make the shot. That's a tough, empty possession.
Yes, it is. A bucket here, and I think you're going to see LIU probably start to foul. Greg's going to get a timeout. This is an important part, if you're Niagara, an important part of the growth process. You got a lot of new pieces. You just haven't had enough time to have this kind of situation present itself. So, as you and I talked about it earlier, about the value of playing this many games in such a short period of time, you're going to see more and more of these instances.
Lafayette against Binghamton coming up around 2:30. Looking at some of the individual numbers in the ball game, 15 points for Malachi Davis and 15 points for Terrell Strickland. On the other side, Adaloden has a dozen, and Williamson has 15. And absolutely no surprise, if you're going to pick 4 guys who are going to be the double-figure scorers, it would be those 4 guys.
You know, what's your favorite thing to say? They call them averages for a reason,
That's
right?
Yeah.
And the averages have played out. But I think more importantly for both of these programs is the ability and the opportunity to play in 3 very competitive, I think, fruitful games. I think all these schools are going to take something very positive out of this tournament.
A minute and 29 to go. And Niagara has the ball and an 8-point lead. So the pressure obviously is on the Sharks to not let them score and come down and find a way to score and maybe score a bunch.
The other thing that Niagara's going to have to do is make free throws at some point, especially if they convert here. LIU has the time to try to get one more stop.
Almost a steal. Inside, no, and we get a foul here, and this is...
Yeah, Greg Paulus made that call way ahead of the officials. He was up off his feet immediately. That's a nice little jump hook. I like this move by Martinez.
Fuller commits the foul.
The best part about that play, you drop it on the floor. You drop it, because I'm not sure Martinez can catch the ball in those close quarters. That's a really nice play by Adaludden. Thank you, Gary. I've had it all weekend long.
So where did it go?
We're all getting older since Friday. How about that?
Martinez.
Feathery.
Makes both foul shots. Nice all-around player is Martinez. He now has 11 points. So put him in the double-figure bracket. And that did LIU no good. Way outside Lee, and he doesn't, he does get it. He got the bounce.
Wow.
So Rock Lee with a triple, that helps.
Back to 7, under a minute now.
Marshall. Here's the double team, triple team. Got rid of it. I like Smith. He's a nice player.
He really is, Gary. He's kind of a steadying influence, got great size.
Keeping the ball away from, and Greg wants another timeout.
Well, what he doesn't want to do is, right now, he'll run a sideline play to score from where the ball is going to be inbounded. But he saw the shot clock running down. The last thing you want to do is give away this possession by simply running the clock out and not getting a shot attempt.
Yeah, because his ball club had really worked their way out of trouble. So now they're going to find themselves with a 7-second shot clock.
And this is where you can set something up. You diagram a set play. You connect the dots for the players. You don't leave a lot to chance here. Again, we talked about the benefit of having guys play together for a long period of time. Niagara doesn't have that luxury. So Greg can draw something up, connect the dots for the players, and hopefully get a good look with 7 seconds left on the shot clock.
They do have the luxury of a 7-point lead with just 36.2 left. So things should be somewhat comfortable. I'm not sure we'll ever see Greg relax, though, until this one's over.
He's not the relaxing type.
He is a mobile coach.
Yes, he is.
Does he wear one of those wristbands that tell you how many? I know you do.
He's getting a bunch of steps.
How many steps do you get?
Plenty of time.
Well, they're not going to foul with the 7 seconds on the clock. Oh, big rebound, Adaludden. Huge rebound. Now they have to foul. Lander will commit it.
And that was so well done. Essentially what they did was they simply spread the floor, gave Williams some room to operate and create. And they got a perfect look, Gary. And, offensive rebounds, it's been a long time since I've said this, fully maybe 2 games. But offensive rebounds are not an accident. Offensive rebounds are a product of really good offensive movement. And Niagara benefited themselves on that possession.
Marshall would come in at 80%, is 1 for 4 now from the foul line. Got it?
Greg wants to bring the defense up a little bit.
He made his point.
Yeah, he did.
Stomped the floor. Lee, they've got to put it up, no choice. And they're going to go home, John, 0-3. They
Yeah.
are not going to win a game in the Lafayette Classic.
They've been in every one. They've really, Lafayette game, the initial game, Lafayette went down to the wire before Lafayette pulled away at the end for a 12-point win. But, this one was competitive throughout. So I think Rod Strickland, is trying to build this thing up, coming off a 7-21 season last year. But he's back home. He'll have some time to build. But if you're Greg Paulus, I know he was disappointed yesterday in the loss to Lafayette, but they'll go home with 2 wins. And as I said before, they're going to be an interesting team to watch as they navigate the MAC this year, because they're going to get better.
They will raise their record to 3-5. They'll take 2 wins out of the tournament as they beat Binghamton and lost to Lafayette. LIU lost to Lafayette and then lost to Binghamton in overtime. And oh my, the worst thing that could happen to LIU is Strickland gets up limping.
And Greg he's over there demonstrating now, just in this point in the game, you just stay on the guy's shoulder and don't get close. The last thing you want to do is foul. Another teaching moment. And I'll tell you another thing. When you're trying to build something and teach along the way, it's a whole lot easier to teach after a win than it is after a loss. These guys will be all ears. Nothing beats winning, and especially when you can take lessons, valuable lessons, from the win.
Strickland with 16 points, the leading scorer on the Sharks side of the ledger, and he's got 17. And ties his career high.
Now, I'll tell you what, Malachi Davis and Strickland are 2 dynamic guards.
They have called it off. This one in the books will go to 60-52. The Sharks will go to 3-7. Niagara will go to 3-6. And they'll get ready for their league competition. The NEC for LIU and the MAC for the